What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Bullets Gotti back with another one. This is part 2. No, I'm joking. No, I'm back with another video. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. When you enter in this video, please, I want y'all to press the like button. The like button helps us get into the algorithm. It places the video in the algorithm. So we need you to engage in commenting, smashing the like button, and sharing the video, and basically hit the notification bell and subscribe. Salute to everybody that's in the building. This right here, this video that I'm doing, I want to talk about, two of my personal favorite rappers of all time. And I was looking at this whole conversation. We all talk about who created hip hop or FBA, this and that. And I just find it odd that nobody's talking about the two FBA brothers that has done a lot for the culture, that's doing a lot for the elders of the culture, which is LL Cool J and Nas, who is still continuously keeping the culture alive. Nas doing the 50th anniversary of hip hop at Yankee Stadium. LL Cool J doing, Rock the Bells concert in Queens. And these are two brothers from Queens, New York. LL Cool J from Farmers Boulevard. Nas from Queensbridge Projects. And everybody's talking about, FBA and this and that. But these two brothers is FBA. People come from the Carolinas, FBA born brothers. You know what I'm saying? These is not foreigners. These is because y'all love to say brothers is foreigners. These is two brothers that family come from the Carolinas. They come from the Carolinas. And they have been putting in the work for the culture and preserving the culture. LL has been preserving the culture by giving the legends, the elders of hip hop, Steak and Rock the Bells. Steak and Rock the Bells radio. And that's powerful. When somebody is giving brothers a stake in the company, that's real. A lot of people's not doing that. And nobody's talking about LL Cool J giving brothers Steak and Rock the Bells. Nobody's talking about Nas giving legends, making a paid in full for the legends, which is he creates that for the people. The foundation that he created with Steve Stout, is something impactful, because what it does is it's like, instead of getting a rapper's pension, you getting something that will help you and your family financially. And that's something that's really dope that I saw that Nas was doing with the Paid in Full Foundation. Named it after Rakim. Rakim and Scarface was the first rappers to basically was offered financial support with the Paid in Full Foundation. And Nas is really doing something impactful where he's giving a foundation for the elders of hip hop. Grandmaster Caz, Roxanne Shante, I think Ed Lover, was even involved in that, and Ralph McDaniels this year. But last year it was Scarface and Rakim. And for him to do that is something impactful for the culture. But everybody want to argue about who created the culture, but they're not talking about, let's help these elders in hip hop. Let's help the Hollywoods. Let's help the Melly Mel's, the Grandmaster Caz's, and all these brothers. Because you have to realize hip hop was a culture that brothers wasn't making no money until the late 80s. All right? Nobody was making money until the late 80s. Nobody. Just look at it like this, right? Before Rakim, Eric B. and Rakim, before LL got the first contract as a solo artist, made $1 million, nobody in hip hop was making that type of money. Nobody. Brothers was not, they didn't understand how to manage their money, because hip hop was considered a fad to these labels. So it wasn't until the late 80s that dudes was really started seeing money. And then from the late 80s to the 90s, brothers continue to still see money. And what I saw with Nas and Steve Stout and Quincy Jones Jr. the third is doing, and even what LL Cool J is doing with Rock the Bells, is impactful and powerful to do for people in this culture. You know, a lot of people's not doing that, bro. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people's not doing it. Everybody talking, and that's one thing about me. Everybody talks the talk, but nobody walks the walk. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I really don't like about the culture, because a lot of these brothers should have financial support. You know, these is legends. They should have health care. You know, we in a culture where a lot of these brothers is dying from illnesses, and they don't have the good health care. They don't have the health care insurance. They don't have the financial support. So when you have somebody that's bringing that to the people that needs that, you know, the financial support, just the care support, and just coming as a camaraderie of a brotherhood, a sisterhood of a culture, that's dope. And just to see what Nas and LL has been doing, even when it comes to like the Hip Hop Museum, you know, just what those brothers is doing for keeping the culture alive is powerful. You know, still showing the people that they still can make great music. You know, Nas and LL, in my opinion, made the greatest music ever in the last couple of years. You know, LL with his last album, a lot of people got they think, oh, he should have did with Dr. Dre, but I think him doing it with Q-Tip was dope. I don't think the album was bad. I think it was a great album. I still listen to the album. Just like Nas working with Hit Boy, I think it was dope. You know, everybody has their niche, you know, and everybody has to find where their niche is at, you know, and what I seen these brothers have done for the culture is dope. You know what I'm saying? And they deserve a lot of flowers for doing that. You know, because let's keep it real, man. You know, when we talk about style-wise and we talk about influential, like these two dudes is the most influential. Like for their era, for their time frame, I think LL was so influential in the 80s when it comes to like style-wise, going from the late 80s to the 90s, early 90s, and even to now, just style-wise, flow-wise, he was the blueprint and the personification of a superstar rapper. You know, we're talking about, he had his own TV series, he was doing movies, clothing line, everything that LL, like even when it comes to like the fitted hats. Like it was only, in my opinion, there's only two rappers that I say that made the fitted caps pop. Tupac Shakur, you know, and LL Cool J. Those who I think made the fitted hats pop in a major way, especially like that 92, 93, because the snapbacks was the thing, you know. So he really made them fitted hats pop. And then, you know, when you just talk about everything, like everybody took a lot from the LL blueprint. And we talking about, and I've done a video talking about this, but a lot of dudes took from the LL blueprint. We talking about whether it was, you know, the style-wise, making the songs for the ladies, you know, making the hard records. It's just so much that he did in the game that, you know, when he said what he said in that interview, he really was talking the facts, because if you really look at it, he was the first big star on Def Jam. You know, before him, there was Tila Rock, you know, and then there was, you know, the Beast Boys came after, but it was just LL Cool J, Tila Rock, that was like the first. And then Tila Rock only did that one song, It's Yours. LL stayed there to the beginning. So LL was there from, I think he had signed to Def Jam like late 83, 84. So he been with them from then. So to being with a company from then, and then 84 actually he signed. Yeah, he signed in 84. So from being with Def Jam from 84 to, you know, he re-signed back. But just from being there and building that and being the biggest artist at the time that was on that record label, because his debut album did very well. His second album did very well. His third album did very well. You know, his fourth album it did well, but it got a lot of criticism. And then his fifth album, which is Mama Said Knock You Out, it did extremely well, which got him a Grammy, you know. So he's had, you know, errors and had times. But one thing I respect about LL Cool J, to be still relevant for 5 decades, you know, and like flow like waters. Flow is just impeccable. His rhyme skills is impeccable. Just what he did in the game, just the way he flipped it. He could make a chick record and then he could make a hard record. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of rappers, you know, envied that and wanted that what LL had. They wanted that. A lot of them could not grasp that. A lot of them couldn't get that. Because if you really look at it, you know, LL is one of one. You know, there's not that many rappers that are one-on-one. He's one-on-one. You know, I tell anybody that LL Cool J is one of one. Just in the hip-hop sense of just his greatness, he's one of one. You know, he is the greatest of all time. He created that term, you know, and, you know, a lot of people use it for other people, but he was the only one in hip-hop that said the greatest of all time, the GOAT. You know, name this album the GOAT. You know, he was all his records. He said the greatest of all time. So he was saying that back then. You know what I'm saying? Which he should have. I agree with him. He should have capitalized on that and trademarked it because he started that. That was his term, and that's what made him the greatest rapper of all time. Now, there was a lot of artists that you look and you say to yourself, "Well, this one is better," but nah, nobody has been reinvent themselves how many times LL had. LL, like I said, LL, when you look at his Walking the Panther, like, people hated him for the Walking the Panther album because they said it was too commercial, right? So when he went and did Mama Said Knock You Out, he got the fan base that he had from the first 3 albums. So these are the people from the first album, second album. They like, yo, we wasn't rocking with you, but now we back rocking with you. So it took him to reinvent the reinvention stage of his career, to reinvent for the 4th album, which was Mama Said Knock You Out, and boom, it took him to the next level. You know, and that's what people gotta understand. Like, when you look at LL and you just look at his career, it just shows you, like, every year he returned like the Ice Cream Man, but he always came with a better style and better beats and a lot of things. Cause like LL really did it all, man. You know what I'm saying? Like him and even Nas, man. Nas is another one, like the reinvention. Like people hated Nas and they didn't like when Nas did, you know, the It Was Writtens and the I Ams and the Nostradamus, but I respect Nas for reinventing himself. I respect him for saying, you know what, I'm trying something different. You know, so when he came out with the second album, you know, people rock with it, and then you had people that just stopped rocking with him because he did the second album, because he had a record like If I Rule the World. But Nas was smart in what he did because he was tapping into different fan bases, different type of ears, and that's what made him a great artist, you know. And when he did the third album, they just didn't like, they started hating even more because they looked at it like, when I hear people say, yo, Nas' best work is Illmatic, and I always say, no, Nas' best work, in my opinion, is not Illmatic. It's his greatest, how can I say, album because of how young he was, but it wasn't his greatest work because he had albums like I Am that's great. He has albums like It Was Written that's great. The original I Am was fire. Some of the joints that you hear on Nostradamus was on the original I Am. It's fire. You know, Stillmatic is fire. A lot of his unreleased music is fire. But I think because Nas was put to so much high esteem, they thought he was going to give them, like he always said, y'all always wanted another Illmatic. You know, but it's always Though That I'm Moving. And a lot of people wanted that Illmatic because it was so great. The picture was so deep. It was so different. Because we talking about a guy that's fresh out of the projects, lost his best friend, you know, dedicate everything to his best friend Ill Will. You know, seeing him die, seeing him murdered, and just scaring beyond, like he said on My Way, right? To see that, and then to see somebody rolls out of the concrete of the projects into stardom, and being one of the most successful artists in hip hop. LL has the same, similar type of story where he was going through a lot as a young man, abuse from as a kid and seeing his mother being shot and seeing a whole lot of things that happened in his life. And then for him to rise to the greatness that he did, and really, I feel like LL Cool J is depreciated in hip hop. I feel like people don't appreciate his greatness because the man is in my opinion, is one of the smartest on the mic. Is one of the greatest. Like when you talk about battle rap or you talk about making songs, like he's great at that. Like a lot of people hate him and they want to say, oh, he got ghostwriters, and LL is like every time I hear people talk about LL, it's like, how can y'all say this man got ghostwriters when this man have wrote for people? This man have made classics that stay the test of time to this day. How can y'all fix your mouths and say that this man has ghostwriters? Like, that's the thing that kills me about when people speak about LL Cool J. Like, they say, oh, he got ghostwriters. I'm saying to myself, where do y'all see he got ghostwriters? You know what I'm saying? Like, where do y'all see, like, all of this? Like, y'all try to even insinuate it where 50 had to correct it, and he said, no. I did the chorus. I wrote for A. Marie's part. He did the verses. I just wrote it the chorus and the hook. Everybody try to take it and flip it and try to make it seem like, oh, he wrote it for he wrote for LL. No, he didn't write for LL. Like he said out his mouth, he took the hook, he wrote the hook and the chorus. The hook and the chorus is different from writing a verse. A verse is a verse, but a lot of people that listen to music, they always want to take it. But what I'm saying is this, right? I feel like people don't want to give these men their flowers, and they deserve their flowers. Because if what I saw, what they doing for a lot of the legends is dope. Because a lot of people talking about a union for rappers, because you have to realize something, man. Once the money is gone, once you dropped off for a label and you not making any more money, a lot of these dudes, if they didn't have like a massive hit, a lot of them can't bank on it. And if they did have a massive hit, a lot of times they weren't the owners of the music. So they got hit. So they really not making money like they was like back in the days, because they not signing any labels. So yeah, they may do a little touring or they may do other hustles just to keep, afloat. But this music thing, man, can be messed up. It can be messed up for people. And I think when it comes to with Nas and LL, what I've seen them do, like what LL doing with Rock the Bells Radio is dope. Because he's basically saying, you know what? Listen, this is my debt to hip hop. This is what because I love the culture so much. This is my debt for hip hop. I'm going to help you brothers financially and give y'all a stake in the company, so y'all got something to your name and you have something ownership wise. You got ownership. Here, boom. Let me get y'all stake in the thing, and y'all get your own shows. When I saw that is dope. Like, nobody talks about that. Everybody arguing about this whole FBA thing. They arguing about who started hip hop, but nobody is talking about, yo, let's help out these legends. It's good to interview them, right? It's good to do that. But is y'all helping out these legends like how LL is doing? Is y'all helping out these legends like how Nas is doing? Like what Nas is doing with Paid in Full Foundation is dope. That is dope. That is dope. Like nobody I've seen has done that in hip hop, bro. Like has not done that. That's dope. Like what Nas is doing. That's dope what LL is doing, because LL is really, showing that this is what it is. They putting their money where their mouth is, bro. They giving back to people that inspired them, and they doing a lot. And that's what they doing even with the Hip Hop Museum, which they have a stake in. LL and Nas, they have a stake in that. They partner up with that, and shout out to them, man. Just shout out, because what they did in 2023, just for the 50th anniversary of hip hop, like the whole thing, what they did with the Grammys, You know, LL was involved in the Grammys joint. The thing they had the whole celebration of hip hop on the Grammys. A lot of people felt the way they felt, and I understood that. But they had that. They had the like I said, Rock the Bells radio, and they got the Rock the Bells show. So they've been just doing all of these things, and they just been doing the thing. You know, what Nas do with Mass Appeal is impactful. You know, look at what Nas just did for Prince. That's coming home. And him, and shout out to LL, because LL was also in the Supreme Team documentary also. Shout out to him. But what Nas did for Prince was dope. A lot of people, people say what they want about that documentary, but that documentary helped that man get his freedom, and he's free today because of that documentary. That documentary helped him get an appeal and get him freedom. Because if he didn't get that freedom, and he didn't go, and that documentary didn't come out, Prince probably would have still been in jail. So you have to look at things like that. That's some humanitarian type of things, man. And like dudes like Nas, man, like I said, they put their money where their mouth is. They do a lot for the community. They've been doing a lot. They do a lot for Queens. And you have to admire that, like how these brothers is really like doing the damn thing, bro. Everybody talk about this rapper or that rapper, but they don't talk about what those brothers is doing. Everybody want to argue. Everybody want to talk about this one stolen the culture. You know, at least these brothers is trying to keep the culture to the people, you know, and give it back, you know, and make sure that the brothers in the culture is eating. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people ain't, be honest with you, you're not seeing them doing that. You're not seeing a lot of cats like really doing the damn thing like that, bro. Like when I saw that and I saw the video and I was basically seeing like the conversation and seeing like the Paid in Full Foundation, and for to be the first recipient of that was I don't know who that is. To being the first recipient of the Paid in Full Foundation honoree, him, Rakim, and Scarface, bro, which is dope, bro. Like these are two dudes that Nas respect, and to see them, you know, financial, telling them, yo, we got y'all financially, and anything with y'all health, we got y'all on so y'all can get kid. You know, so y'all don't have to be out here going out y'all pockets. You know what I'm saying? Which is dope, bro. That's dope. You know what I'm saying? Because hip hop is a culture where you really is how you say an independent contractor, bro. You're not able to even when your career is done, bro. You're not getting nothing back. You know, so that's really dope right there, bro. That's really dope. And then, like I said, with the whole thing with LL, with Rock the Bells radio, you know, when I saw like how he, you know, every time he was online, he talking to Slick Rick, you know, Rakim, Eric B, say, yo, y'all got a stake in this, man. Holla at me. Y'all got a stake in this company. And that's real. You know, that's real. And they able to get a bag, you know, and do their thing, you know what I'm saying? So they staying true to the culture, but I just don't hear everybody that's critical about, you know, the culture, or they critical about, you know, dudes taking over the culture or this beef. I would want to see brothers will say, yo, we spending most of our time arguing about, you know, who controls the culture and what culture and who's not, you know, FBA and this and that. Like, bro, I'm not, like I tell people, bro, in 2025, bro, and I tell anybody, bro, if it ain't about bettering my people, bro, we need to just stop that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of things going on in the culture that I don't hear none of these brothers talking about. I heard nobody talked about what Nas and LL been doing in the culture, and they ain't even giving them their flowers, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I see people, like, trying to, like, disrespect LL on comments or disrespect Nas, I'm like, yo, y'all dudes be disrespecting these men, right? And don't know how much they have done for the culture. Y'all don't know how much they have helped out the culture. You know? They haven't done anything against the culture. In fact, they out here trying to make sure brothers got a bag, that brothers got something to leave for their family, because a lot of these brothers is leaving out of here and they telling you in interviews that, financially they ain't how they really was back in the days. When you hear some of when you hear the conversations in the interviews and you hear like, damn, they shouldn't be like, this is a hit. They had a hit single back in the days. They sold millions of records. And to hear that they financially not doing too well and hearing about, having health issues and they got to go out their pocket for, for certain things that, they should have, like, come on, bro. So I really do appreciate that. But like I said, man, you got to really look at it, man. These two dudes, man, they did a lot for the culture, bro. Just hip-hop wise in general, man. Because like I said earlier in this video, it's like when you really look at it, like, two rappers, and I feel like it's like they I believe from the mass public, they criminally, like, underrated. Because I feel like, they get acknowledged, but they don't get the acknowledgement that they deserve, for what they do within the culture. A lot of people say they do this and do that for the culture, and they don't really do anything. You know what I'm saying? They use certain artists from the culture to get a bag and to push whatever narrative they want to push, but they don't do anything for the culture to the level of, yo, let's help these brothers get, they flowers. Let's put these brothers on and had a conversation. Let's work with, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, with the whole academics, like even when LL addressed the academics thing, I kind of respect his opinion on that, because I feel like in hip hop, bro, this is the only culture, right, that don't respect the legends of the culture. It may be like one or two that they know, and then they have the obscene respect. Like Jay-Z is a guy, right, in hip hop that everybody wants to be. They want a Jay-Z feature. They want to do a song with him and all that, right? Then there's other legends in hip hop, like they'll just tear them down because they ain't got a record. They ain't had a record. They ain't popping, or they don't listen to the music. So if you ain't making the music that they want to hear, the commercial type music, or making an album that they want to hear, they say, oh, they washed up. That's back in this, they back. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like to me, that's what hurt the culture, because there's been a lot of people like this Kendrick Lamar battle, right? There's been a lot of people putting out good quality rap music, and the two men that I'm speaking about in this video put out great quality rap music. Like what LL was doing with, going on tour, during the time he was on NCIS LA, he was still touring and selling out, with the Rock the Bell show. He sold out with the tour, and he hasn't really did like a tour like that since like he, did his album. But when he did the Force tour, and then he was, promoting that album, and how long he was working on that album, and just hearing the material on that album was like, okay, I see where he going with this. And in my opinion, it's one of those ones, man. It's one of those albums, bro. It's like a comeback to like LL making music, like, and the thing is, right, people like, yo, he should have worked with Dr. Dre. I felt he should have worked with who he felt comfortable that understood his vision on the album. Everybody think because you work with Dr. Dre, you're going to have a classic album, and that's near or there, because there's sometimes where people work with certain producers and it just don't work. This album with Q-Tip, it showed that it was a good, mature sound. It was a mature sounding album. And I love, what LL and Nas is doing, like with the whole, I would call it the adult contemporary genre of hip hop. And I think that's what hip hop needs. I think hip hop needs what other genres have. Like R&B have a dope contemporary, you know. They always had a dope contemporary with R&B. You know, you always had the mature R&B artists and you had the younger R&B artists. And like somebody like a Luther Vandross and a Barry White, they were mature R&B artists, you know. And then you had artists like a R. Kelly or Joe or, you know, the guys that like Jaheim or Case or Usher. That was more of a young crowd. So the music was more of it had like a hip hop, you know, oriented base. And that's what I look at, like with LL and Nas, what they've done with the whole adult contemporary is dope. Because they basically is showing that, listen, we don't have to make the same music that our young peers is making. We can make young music. We can make music that young people may like, right? And we'll bop to it. You know what I'm saying? Depends on the beat. But we don't have to make the same type of music that the artist. And I feel like, you know, it's not about the sales. That's one thing I respect about LL and Nas, that it's not about the sales. Like, Nas don't care about selling records no more. You know, he done sold, come on, bro. He done went platinum how many times? He done sold millions of records. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't care about going platinum, going 2 times, 3 times, 4 times platinum. He don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? Because he's at a career now at a plateau where he doesn't care about that. He done had #1 albums. You know, he done did that. You know, now in 2020, you know, 2024, you know, going into 2025, these dudes don't care about selling records. And I respect that, because when you a legend and you made your legacy is what it is, you know, you in the rafters, Jersey's in the rafters. So like when I saw Nas doing the album with Hit Boy, and I saw what LL did with Q-Tip, I was like, oh yeah, this is for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't an album for the culture and it was for sales, he would have went and got Metro Boomin. He'd have went and got all the new young hot producers. He would have got a new rap on there. It wasn't about the sales. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get, like Nas too, they didn't get big name artists or got the same beats that these dudes. No. And I respect that. You know, I respect that as a person that love the culture. I respect a person that makes music for the culture and it's not about chasing the clout. You know, and that's why I say LL and Nas deserve their flowers, because they show that adult contemporary hip hop can compete and can do extremely well. You know, they can do extremely well. They don't need, how you say, the support of radio. They don't need the support of, you know, any of that. You know what I'm saying? They don't need the sales, the crazy sales, you know, because dudes done solos. Dudes done got awards and all that. They don't care about the crazy sales. You know, their thing is just making great music for the love of the culture. And I respect that. You know, I respect that. I wanted to see Nas like really do the album, the Primo album. I wanted him to end the year off with that. But I understood, you know, he's working. Like, one thing about Nas, man, he's working on great content and making on good music. So he'll eventually make a album. You know, he'll eventually make one. But it's kind of good what him and LL is just doing for the culture, just as a whole, bro. And like I said, a lot of people need to talk about that, bro. Like, why are y'all not talking about these FBA brothers that's really doing that for the culture, man? Like, far as, you know, we got the whole argument of Fat Joe and Busta and all this. Like, I feel like we so through all of that, bro. Like, we shouldn't even be arguing about apples and oranges. I feel like the culture right now is not even controlled by us. You know what I'm saying? Right now they got rid of urban music in the Universal department. You know, once they let go certain individuals like Mike Kaiser and a lot of the whole Atlantic Records crew, Warner Brothers crew, they let them go. And They cleaned up the whole urban market. So now the urban market is really not what it is. You know what I'm saying? You just look at the urban music scene, right? In the 2000s, urban music controlled, and this is facts. You can go look. Urban music, R&B, hip hop, all, and this is facts, dominated the music industry. That's why they needed black artists on these labels, because they sold more. And during the 90s, they was beating country western stars because Tim McGraw and Garth Brooks was like, if you wasn't selling like Garth Brooks, or you wasn't selling like Billy Ray Cyrus, all them country western artists, or you wasn't selling like a pop artist like a Madonna, all of them, any of them people, like you wasn't making no money. So when the West Coast came and they was doing 3 times, 4 times, 5 times platinum, selling how they were selling, like how country western rock artists, pop artists was selling, it changed the trajectory. Now, in the late 90s now, producers, the labels is telling producers, work with this artist. I need Pharrell to do a beat for this artist. I need the track masters to do a beat, because they saw the success of, I need Puffy to do a beat. I need R. Kelly to do a record. They saw the success of urban music, that they wanted their artists to have the same urban sound. So that's why you get the Neptunes doing songs for Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears and, track masters and all of them. They doing Puff doing records for these people, because they looking at it, this is who's dominating the culture. And as time consumes itself and just it progresses, you start seeing that and start becoming oversaturation. And everything has an oversaturation. Just even this YouTube thing has an oversaturation. But like with music, it has an oversaturation. So when I saw people like LL, and I see people like Nas, and I see people like that, that's pushing adult contemporary music, like I respect that. I'm not trying to make music that's trendy for the clubs. And I feel like when an artist got to do that to try to stay relevant, to make music trendy for the young people, I feel like that you're compromising. I feel like as an artist, you don't have to, because the people that ride with you from the beginning is going to continue to keep rocking with you. And I think that's why like people rock with Nas. That's why people rock with LL, because it's not about being trendy. It's about staying with the method that works for you. And those two always stay true to the method that works for them. Whether people liked it, whether people didn't like it, but they stayed true to their method. LL method was make chick records, make records for the, for the clubs, make records for the streets, and that was it. Same thing with Nas. Make, the chick records like LL, make the records for the streets, and, make the records that you can think to, And that's what kept them true, because the people love LL for certain, the people love LL for certain things. People love Nas for certain things. When an artist start dibbling, dabbling, trying to not stay true to themselves, they just trend hop. And a lot of that don't work for a lot of artists. And that's what I think a lot of artists, would really ruin a lot of artists. See, the ones that trend hop, it helped them. And there was other artists it just didn't help. And that's why, like I said, like when you look at like L and you look at Nas, man, they didn't have to trend hop. They great at what they do. They great at what they do as an artist, bro. Like, why trend hop? Why copy the trend of what other rappers do? Because that right there just shows you, bro, that gonna hurt you as an artist, bro. Trying to follow what's popping. I feel like no artist should do that, bro. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I feel like when you make a certain type of music and you a certain kind of artist, you don't have to follow what other artists do. You know, and Son is a kind of artist. You know, both of them is kind of artists that don't have to, you know, copy what others do. You know, I just think other people just had their issues because they don't like certain rappers. You know, they don't like how certain rappers give it up, man. You know, when it comes to creativity, you know, when an artist grows, it becomes a problem. Because really and truly, right, when artists make records that where they fell in love with you, they want that one thing. But I learned it from L and Nas. Like when they made certain kind of records, like people just fell back. Like, oh man, they making that corny shit. You know, saying, oh, I don't like the beats, or I don't like that. And I'm saying to myself, bro, like, let an artist be great. You know what I'm saying? Let the artists do them. Like, I don't feel that people should, you know, hate on a person just for doing what they do. What makes them great at what they do. You know, everybody got their own, they got their own creativity. I feel like what works for you, works for you. Everything don't work for everybody. You know, and that's why I think, like I said, man, like when it comes to the culture, bro, I don't see anybody doing or putting the work in like them two brothers, man. And I wish that a lot of people would speak on that, you know, because I haven't heard anybody really speak on, you know, what them two brothers have done just on that level. Like to even take the time out to support the artists that are less fortunate, the artists that may not be financially right, or might not be in a space. You know, I've just never seen anybody talk about that. You know, I hear all the bickering about, you know, the culture thing, but I always say to myself, bro, like, is y'all dudes reaching out to these brothers? Is y'all helping these brothers out? Because a lot of these legends, man, sad to say, bro, but a lot of them is not good financially. Some of them got to work 9 to 5 jobs, in which they shouldn't, because they done made millions of dollars in the culture. They shouldn't be working 9 to 5 jobs. You know what I'm saying? These brothers shouldn't be homeless. These brothers should not have health issues and not have, you know, good care. You know, we all should have great medical care. And to hear that somebody, an artist, doesn't have great medical care, that's been in the game, you know, for 4 or 5 decades, and just to hear that about them, that they succumb to bad times, that's not good to hear, bro. You know, this is a culture that we done work hard off, and artists should be, you know, real protected out here, man. You know, so that's how I feel, man. You know, and that's the way I feel. You know, I don't care what nobody say, bro. Real is real, bro. You know, people gotta look at it like that, bro. Like, you either stand for something or fall for anything, bro. And I just feel like, as a culture, we gotta do better at supporting our people, man. You know, whether it's financial, whatever, but we gotta do better in supporting our people. You know, and during these tough times, because we all go through tough shit. We all go through bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We all go through it. But I just feel like when people get on the internet and they don't help out the other man, that just feels, to me, that just feel bad, bro. Like, and that's just how I feel. Like, so I said it, man. Like, we gotta support our legends, bro, while they're here, and give them their flowers, man. And Nas and LL definitely deserve their flowers, bro. Like, anybody could, like, when I saw what they did just for Hip Hop 50, and then what they continue to still do for the culture, it's incredible. You know, it's incredible, man. You know, and that's just real. And they love the culture, bro. And they two brothers from Queens, New York, man. 2 brothers from Queens, New York. you know, and they just two creative minds that just put the work in, man. And you know what I just respect what them dudes do, man. You know, these brothers set a lot of trends, and they doing a lot of impactful things, man. And I just hope, man, you know, I like the joint that them two did together. I hope they do an album together. You know, I really hope they do an album together, and I really hope that they, you know, to work together, man, because that right there is just so creative, man. That's just so creative what these dudes is doing, man. I hope they do an album together, man. We need more music with L and Nas, man. And like, they love hip hop, man. And I just want to give them their flowers for what they did for Hip Hop 50, bro. And nobody talked about what they doing. They did the more, and keep it real. Like, people talk about Jay-Z, people talk about this one, that one, Kendrick, whoever, Eminem, but LL and Nas did so much for Hip Hop 50 and just for the hip hop culture in general that we gotta give them their flowers. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to do this video to just say, man, that they deserve that. You know, they deserve that for the culture, man. For the culture. You know, definitely for the culture, they did a lot, man. And they continue to do a lot. And they ain't stopping to do. They not stopping. They still doing it. And they helping out brothers. And they definitely, you know, deserve all the flowers they should get. Not only the flowers, but they deserve to be on Mount Rushmore lists and all that. You know. And like when people say, yo, he refused to put, you know, Kanye and DMX and Jay-Z and this one in the Mount Rushmore list, but people gotta understand, Def Jam Records, if it wasn't for LL Cool J keeping the lights, helping that country, that label, you know, and even Public Enemy, Beasties, and Slick Rick, if it wasn't for those, that four right there, you know, Def Jam would never been a company. You know, Slick Rick helped out Def Jam. Public Enemy helped out Def Jam. You know, Beastie Boys helped out Def Jam. LL Cool J helped out Def Jam. So that's the conversation, you know what I'm saying? So when people say, yo, why you left that one off the Mount Rushmore? That man had every right to say what he said, you know? And like I said, man, you know, salute to Nas and LL, man, for doing, you know, even the song, you know, Praise Him, which was a good record. You know, that was a good record. I like that record, Praise Him. You know, that was one of my favorites on the album. There was a couple of joints I liked on it, but that was a good record. You know, and like I said, man, you know, even when he had the comments, like I heard, like, people gonna have their goats, people gonna have their favorites. But when I see people doing the most for the culture, I admire people that's doing more for the culture than ever. And a lot of people not doing anything for the culture. They just in the culture, just doing what they doing, getting a bag. You know, and that's cool too. But, you know, to keep the culture alive, to keep the culture afloat, to keep, you know, brothers that don't have a high school diploma, didn't finish college, you know, some of them got GEDs, but hey, they became multi-millionaires from this culture. You gotta salute that. You know what I'm saying? That the talent arose from the concrete, and it just helped them put themselves on high levels to go across seas and perform. So that's dope, yo. That's real dope. And that's why, like, when we had these conversations about certain artists and just about the culture, people should start having more conversations. Like, let's talk about the positive that certain artists have done in the culture. We talking about, like, helping the people. Dudes need to start talking about that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, man, we talking about two FBA brothers that can trace their lineage back to the Carolinas. Both of them. Right? So they definitely deserve their flowers and the respect. You know what I'm saying? And the love that they get, because everybody want to argue this and that. But ain't nobody talking about what them brothers doing. You know what I'm saying? In a culture right now that we completely don't control, we don't completely have the ownership in. You know, and we completely, staying afloat in the culture and trying to keep it alive and not let the people deteriorate the culture that was built off of having fun and positivity, you know what I'm saying, and just delivering a message, So I want to give flowers to LL Cool J and Nas. And like I said, man, keep doing y'all thing, man, and much respect. And I hope that more people, can really see, things like that. Because people don't understand, man. Like, they don't understand, man, that people, say what they want, bro. But I look at what people, the greatness of great artists, and I admire the greatness of them two dudes. And they the true definition of the greats from Queens. Because the influence of LL and the influence of Nas and just in Queens in general is majorly impactful. They put on, in a major way. So much respect to both of them, man. Keep doing your thing, man. And we gotta see more artists doing that. We don't see Jay-Z's, we don't see Eminem's, we don't see a lot of these dudes doing that, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's no knock on them, but we just don't see them doing what these brothers is doing. They taking the time and effort to do something. So let's keep the culture alive and let's support the brothers that's really doing something for the culture. Salute.